What is going on, everyone? This is Adam and Craig with Grandson Golf, and in this video, we're talking our round 4 DFS showdown targets for the 2020 US Open. Craig, Saturday was kind of a wild round. We're left with two guys at the top with Wolff and Bryson. What are you thinking going into Sunday and some of the strategies we have?
Well, I think, the first thing that we need to think about is that everything changes on Sunday. We're not just looking at what they're doing on the day of, but we also are looking at where they're going to end up finishing in the tournament. So, in terms of whether it's a two-horse race or not, I don't think it is. To build a mental narrative a bit, I looked back at some previous US Opens, because they threw the number out that an absurdly high amount of you can only come back from 4 back or something to win. But
yeah.
The thing is, there's other ones where guys have just totally fallen off the map, where they had a lead going into the Sunday, and US Opens can just bite you. And so I think that you do want to get some of these top guys, but I don't think you need to limit yourself to that.
Yeah, so I think the bonus points, the tournament finishing position is really important because it is playing as a harder course. We don't have as many birdie points. I think on an easier course, you can almost excuse that a little bit more. But with this one, 13 points is a lot. I think Wolff scored 49 points in Showdown today, and that was like by far and away, I think, one of the best rounds we've seen all tournament. Most have been like a 30 average has got you in cash.
Yeah.
So 13 points is a lot. With kind of the stats we saw, we just kind of put up, assume a +4, +5 scoring average. I think Wolff is a little bit of an anomaly with a 5 under. I think 3 under with a Sunday setup is kind of what we can expect. So the greatest movement I think we can see is about 7 strokes for an individual player, kind of if you're looking at the average number. So if you want kind of let's say bonus points, you shouldn't, and right now, 5th is even par. You're probably looking at guys at 7. Like that's the max they can come up at 7 over. They might be able to crack into the top 5.
Yeah, and that would be pretty exceptional. I think that would be basically if it's a really hard day and and everyone is over par. There's no one going low, and then someone like Alex Noren in the morning today, where I don't think anyone else was under par at one point, and he was 3 under. And so it really would have to be something like that for that max distance of coming back to be covered. But I think that the real important thing to do is you want to try to figure out who's going to be a couple guys in that top 5, but then who are the ones that are going to shoot into the top 10? Like who are the ones out, in that big cluster back at 4, 5, 6,
7, 8
that you think might move up relative to the field. And
the other thing to think about too is if you just want to kind of plug in Wolff and Bryson, even if they fall off, they're still looking at they would have to go quite a ways to break outside the top 10, just with how many strokes they have on the field right now. So is that rostering them with those guaranteed points enough? Like a 10th place finish is a birdie right there, and birdies are hard to come by. So that might be something.
Yeah, I think it also depends a bit on
in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it depends a bit on. Are their ownerships going to be so high? If Wolff is going to be, I think it's going to be tough to get away from. You definitely have to have one or the other. But I could see building a narrative where you're like, maybe Bryson's going to be over 50%, and he goes out there and shoots a +6 or a +7 tomorrow. I'll be on the other side of that, I'll be the one who's bet against him, and I've taken Wolff and I've taken a bunch of the other guys, and then it just turns out that I picked the other guys better than anyone else who avoided Bryson.
But just avoiding Bryson, you're automatically in the top half of the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Just right there.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be tough. I think there's going to be a lot of people who have Wolff and Bryson, and then it's just like trying to get those tiny little differentiations.
Yeah. So we'll just jump into my picks. I think I'm first up here. So I guess it's obvious who I'm going with. I was kind of writing this as we were going down 16, 17, and Bryson kind of convinced me that he's the man to back tomorrow. I'm probably going to pair him with Wolf as well, but I really like Bryson at 9,600. He's just mispriced for his position. I think he's got a little bit more experience than Wolf. We were talking on our podcast that he's got that USGA win with that amateur, but he's cheaper than DJ, than Rom. These guys that are way back, and he's got these bonus points positions that will get him those extra points. Even with a bad day, Bryson just hits it so far that he's going to set himself up for birdies. He has a chance on 9 to get an eagle. There's birdie opportunities out there for the most part. And his game that he talked about before on Wednesday in the press conference or Tuesday shows that it's working. Like, he can hit it a long way, have it in the rough, and still chop it out and get it on the green in regulation. I think I kind of picked him as my winner on our podcast tonight, and I'm going to stick with him for showdowns.
Yeah, I don't. I obviously think in showdowns it's either with both Wolf and Bryson, you're either on them or you're not. And I mean, you can have lineups with or without them, but everything in that lineup needs to agree. You can't kind of be like, oh, well, I kind of think, if you're taking Bryson and not Wolf, then you need to take things so that if Bryson or Wolf falls off, then you're going to be in the money. I do. So Bryson, it seems like he's avoiding really big numbers too, which is key. That he's even when he's sprayed it, like there was one he got way left today, and I think as long as it's in the rough, but he hacks it up as far as he can, and those are turning into bogeys or potentially saving them. It's if those turn into doubles or big numbers, that's the real potential problem, and so far we haven't seen it. So
the other thing I like real quick is his putting was actually negative today. I think negative almost a stroke, 0.97. And he's an underrated putter. Like, he's quite strong.
Oh yeah, he's been a great
putter. If that can get a little bit, so if that can get a little bit better, I think that's enough to kind of push him over the edge into the win tomorrow.
Yeah, and you would expect it to.
Yeah. My next guy is Thomas Pieters, 8,400 on DraftKings, a guy I've been on the entire tournament, and I'm not turning away on Sunday. I mean, I'm just sticking with him. Maybe I'm too stubborn, but he's just hitting the ball so well right now, off the tee, on approach. He lost 4.7 strokes putting today. Like, he was setting himself up with 4-foot birdie putts down the stretch on the back nine. And he just couldn't convert.
Yeah, it's unreal looking at his stats.
He's +3, so I think he's actually too far out to go out and get a win. But I think kind of that pressure not being there, he can kind of swing a little bit freely and just let the putter just naturally go and maybe move into a top 5. I'm sticking with Pieters again tomorrow.
Yeah, I also love it because every time they cut to him on the broadcast, they're like, this guy just bombs it.
Yeah.
Like, usually he's got himself into some kind of either an odd position or he's right in the middle and he's throwing daggers, and then let's just hope he can make a few more of those putts.
So there's clearly a theme with my picks, and the next one is Taylor Pendrith at 6,000, absolute bare minimum on DraftKings. The guy from Ontario, I don't know if Thomas is like the Belgian bomber, maybe it's like Ontario off the tee or something.
So Ontario is a province in Canada, for those who don't know what that is.
We love our Canadian golfers.
Yeah, we do. And it's nice to see him actually doing as well as he is in this tournament.
So he's okay. He's a ways back. I think he's T40 right now. He averages 232 yards, 233 yards, 23 yards off the tee on the Corn Ferry Tour. Like, he just bombs it. Bare minimum pricing, so you can get almost like 4, maybe 5 guys that are right in the top 15, top 10 almost in your leaderboard. Put him. Hope he has an even par day with a couple birdies. Maybe he's runs up there on 9 and has an eagle chance. I don't know. I don't think many people are going to get that far down. He doesn't even have a screenshot on DraftKings. That kind of scares people off. I just like him as a really kind of low-owned, this is how I'm going to be different type of guy.
Yeah, you also do seem to have a bit of a trend in the ridiculous. So, you're hoping it's a day for bombers tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I think Wolf is a bomber. Bryson's a bomber. Pieters. I would even say Matsuyama. Oosthuizen's good off the tee. Rory had a good day today.
Say, you're missing the guy who is the best one of all these guys off the tee, which might be a good segue into my picks because, I'm starting off with Rory McIlroy. and he's +1 right now. I don't know what that ended up being. It was about tied for sixth, somewhere around there.
He's seventh. He's
Tied for
lone in
seventh.
seventh.
Oh, okay, got you.
Mhm.
And yeah, so he obviously he had the bad round on Friday, but put together two really good rounds beside that. His 2 under today was I think even a little bit more impressive than some of the ones later in the day
Yeah.
because he was
I agree.
playing in the harder when conditions were harder with the wind. But
Mhm.
just on the trend of your bombers, so um, Rory was number 2 strokes gained off the tee on the first day, and he was number 1 still, even with the 76 he shot on Friday.
Wow.
And then I don't know what he ended up today because I was looking at these stats before the round was done, but he was definitely in the top
Mhm.
10 again. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
he's
sure.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but it seems like every time they cut to Rory, he's in the middle of a fairway, like in total position A, and they're like, "Oh yeah, here's Rory's approach," and it,
Yeah.
it looks like he just at times. I mean, and this is where he didn't score with it on Friday, but it
Mhm.
looks at times he just has total control over his ball striking.
Yeah.
Only other reason I think that needs to be mentioned is he's just far and away the most experienced guy up there. Uh,
Yeah.
we've spoken about how Louis Oosthuizen does have a major. He's won the Open Championship, but
Mhm.
I mean Rory's got 20 top tens in majors, 4 wins. He's been around
Crazy.
this
Yeah.
place. He's not sleeping tonight with all of the thoughts of how
He's
different
not
this is going to
nervous at
be.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
He's
know what?
been
The
there
only
so many
thing
times.
that may actually argue against, or one of the things that may argue against this pick is if there were crowds, I think it'd be even more in his favor because
Yeah. I agree.
it wouldn't phase him. He's dealt with that so much.
He would probably be the crowd favorite, maybe Xander, but I think Rory would have the backing of the crowd, I would guess.
It'd be curious to see how the crowd would react to Bryson. I think Wolf they would
Uh,
generally be supportive of. I think Bryson would get a little bit of both from the crowds. I think
yeah.
some people would love him, and then others would be heckling him just to see if they
Yeah.
could get a reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna be really scary tomorrow for all those guys, even or better. I think they're gonna be maybe checking over the leaderboard to see how Rory's doing.
Yeah. Moving on, Viktor Hovland. I had him on here yesterday. I think
Hmm.
that basically all the reasons I had yesterday are the same reasons I think he's going to be good for tomorrow.
Yeah.
He went out there and he shot even par today, which was much better than the field was doing. High, still very high ranked strokes gained tee to green, and he still left strokes out there on the course. Just exactly the same points I had on him
Yeah.
yesterday. I don't know if
He
you
just
saw this, but they cut to him every time. It just looked like he just left one in the jaws that could have been a birdie.
I didn't get the full broadcast today, but I feel like he just hasn't been getting love on the broadcast either. Like he's kind of got unnoticed because it is pretty like 71, 71, 70. Like he's just kind of plodding along a little bit.
Well,
Playing
and
great golf.
especially at the start of today, there were so many guys around there
Yeah.
that could have moved either way, and a lot of them were moving back,
Yeah.
and he just didn't happen to. Everyone else was moving back, and he stayed steady.
And I think a great price at 7,700.
Yeah. Last pick, and I've had him here. I think I had him yesterday and before the tournament,
Hmm.
but Will Zalatoris still, I mean, with this price, he's just getting zero respect.
Yeah.
And I
Oh
think the
yeah.
reality is that I think money's going to get left on the board for. I
Yeah.
haven't looked at whether any of those other top guys are worth paying up for yet. I haven't made any of my lineups, but um, Will Zalatoris at 6,500. He's +4 in the tournament. Was even today. Similar to Hovland, very very high ranked tee to green.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
had 4 birdies today, so he's made 8 birdies in the tournament and an eagle. He can score, which for these
Yeah.
showdowns, that's
Those are
what you
huge.
want.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
also saw he missed some short putts today that could have been birdies. Um, and the reason I like guys like that, it's not because I like guys that miss putts. It's just when they're always giving themselves opportunities, they just get hot. Like Paul Casey today, who you had picked going into the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
You just want those guys that are going to give themselves a chance when they get hot.
What did Zalatoris do last Sunday? Something like posted 62 and
64 to come
in
charging
his
back, and he almost won. He was one off the lead
yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, another guy who I think he's enough removed from it that he can kind of play his own game and post a good score and just like maybe creep into the top 10 or something.
Yeah.
Top five.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. Quickly recapping. So I have Bryson DeChambeau 9,600, Thomas Pieters 8,400, and the Bombers altogether Taylor Pendrith 6,000 on DraftKings.
Yeah, and I have Rory McIlroy at 9,200, Viktor Hovland at 7,700, and Will Zalatoris not 7,000. He's actually 6,500. That was his price from before.
And we have round three. This is round four DFS Showdown targets for the U.S. Open. But hey, it's late on Saturday. We're getting this out for you. Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to catch our upcoming videos.
Yeah, good luck, everyone, tomorrow. And look out for our podcast as well, recapping the whole tournament tomorrow night.
All right, take care, everybody.